Hello dear students, very good morning and greetings of the day. Today we are going to discuss another important type of negative interaction, that is known as antibiosis. And the term antibiosis is due to this interaction is happening, the interaction of two organisms, and one produces antibiotics or any other inhibitory substances and inhibit the growth of other organism. Thus this particular interaction is known as antibiosis. So as an introduction, antibiosis of course is a negative interaction in which two or more organisms, that is detrimental to at least one of them by production of certain inhibitory substance, and this is an antagonistic activity. We have already discussed the antagonism. This is also an example of antagonistic activity, and this antibiosis happening between two organisms, and they produce a certain inhibitory substances or metabolic byproduct that inhibit the growth of the other one, and it is caused by the release of metabolites or cell component that inhibit the other organism. An excellent example is the relationship between the antibiotics and the bacteria or animal and the disease causing organism. The production of antibiotic is the major point here, and the study of antibiosis and its role in antibiotics, how antibiosis contributed to the role of the action of antibiotics, is one of the major area in microbiology which contributes significant knowledge to various aspects of microbiology. And this is of course a molecular process, that is such as cell wall synthesis and recycling have become better understood through the study of this and study of how antibiotic affect beta-lactam development. Okay, beta-lactam antibiotics are one of the important antibiotics. How beta-lactam antibiotics affect the host cell, and that is the molecular aspects of antibiosis that can be explained the process. And the antibiosis, the relationship and interaction of a particular drug with the bacteria and the interacting component. So once the antibiotic is inhibiting to a particular bacteria, the antibiotics are produced by either bacteria or fungi or actinomyces, and that secreted against another type of organism, and due to the activity of this particular organism, how that cell is getting detrimental impact and how the growth will be inhibited and how sometimes the inhibition or killing is happening. So that is the major aspects of antibiosis. And in addition to this, it is studied in host plant population and even extended to insects which is feed upon them. Okay, then the antibiotics resistance affects the biology of insects. So pest abundance and subsequently the damage is reduced compared to that of which would be occur if the insects was in a susceptible crop variety. Okay, this is in interaction between the insects and microorganisms. And antibiotic resistance resulted in increased mortality and reduced longevity and reproduction of the insects. So in the insects, the production of antibiotics is adversely affecting in terms of mortality, and it reduced the affected the growth and long life of these insects. Okay, and when we are talking about antibiosis, as we have discussed earlier, as you all know, antibiotics are secondary metabolites, okay, which are produced by the late logarithmic phase of the bacteria, and that is produced by one bacteria, and that is acted against another type of organism. And what is the mechanism of this antibiosis? and how antibiotics are working actually. In this diagram very clearly illustrate the mode of action about various type of antibiotic and where it will target, and all antibiotic will be having a very specific mechanism for killing, and once that mechanism is disrupted, that antibiotic is getting resistant, one of the most potential problem in this world at present. Okay, you know that antibiotic resistance that caused by earlier it was antibiotic multi-drug resistance was there, now extreme drug resistance, now some of the antibiotic are developed resistance to most of the the organism developed resistance to most of the antibiotics. Okay, that is known as pan drug resistance. Okay, so these are multi-drug resistant, extreme drug resistant, and pan drug resistance are different types of antibiotic resistance. And what are the action of these antibiotics? Certain antibiotics such as penicillin, okay, cephalosporins, carbapenem, and monobactam. Okay, penicillins, cephalosporins, carbapenem, such as that is the highest the last line antibiotic that is available in currently. Carbapenem such as imipenem, doripenem, ertapenem, meropenem, saropenem, okay, and monobactam. The mechanism of action is this will inhibit the cell wall synthesis. Okay, these are beta-lactam antibiotic. These are commonly known as beta-lactam antibiotic. In their structure, there is a common beta-lactam ring will be there, and this will be affected the peptidoglycan layer that is present in the gram-negative organism. These are exclusively for gram-negative organism, and as well as especially gram-positive organism as well as gram-negative organism. Okay, gram-positive organism, as you all know, the peptidoglycan content is very high actually. Okay, and this can be used as a, especially carbapenem, that is the last line drugs of most of the gram-negative bacteria. The cell wall synthesis will be inhibited, and some other antibiotics such as vancomycin, that is a last line drug against Staphylococcus aureus. Even if you are having methicillin resistant Staphylococcus aureus or MRSA, there vancomycin is the drug of choice, and later that vancomycin is also showed resistance. The bacteria is showed resistance against this vancomycin. Okay, the action is also, that is known as VRSA, vancomycin resistant Staphylococcus aureus. Okay, and the activity is again this cell wall synthesis. The cell membrane, the cell wall, it will be affected. Okay, and another antibiotic called bacitracin also, the target, the mechanism where it is affecting the various component of the cell wall of the bacteria it is affecting. Then another important last line antibiotics are polymyxin or colistins. Okay, polymyxin B and polymyxin E, that is affecting the cell membrane. Okay, the cell membrane that consisting of the lipopolysaccharide, you know, the phospholipid bilayer will be there. Okay, not lipopolysaccharide, the phospholipid bilayer, and this will go and bind, the antibiotic will go and bind the phospholipid bilayer. Okay, that is another important mechanism. So polymyxin is an excellent example of cell membrane inhibiting antibiotic. Then another broad category of antibiotic that affect the protein synthesis machinery. We have discussed in molecular biology the detailed aspects of the protein synthesis, and where ribosome is playing a very vital role in the prokaryotes. The ribosomes, okay, there is a, you know that the ribosome that will be having a very tremendous role to play. There is a 50S subunit and there is a 30S subunit. Okay, and the antibiotic like tetracycline and many aminoglycosides that specifically inhibit the bind and inhibit the 13S subunit of a ribosome. And in the case of other antibiotics such as macrolide antibiotic and the clindamycin, linezolid and chloramphenicol and streptogramins. So these are the antibiotic, they specifically go and bind the 50S subunit of the ribosome. Okay, the 50S subunit of a ribosome. Okay, and this will specifically bind the 50S subunit of ribosome, and that will be inhibited. Okay, and here some other type of antibiotics such as quinoline. Okay, quinoline antibiotic specifically affect the DNA gyrase of that particular organism. It specifically affect the DNA gyrase enzyme. You know that DNA gyrase and topoisomerase are the two important enzymes that is responsible for the supercoiling of the DNA. Okay, so DNA gyrase it is affecting, and certain other type of organism, the specific treatment against mycobacterium, tuberculosis, such as rifampicin, okay, the rifampin or rifamycin, okay, that is affecting the RNA polymerase. So the function of RNA polymerase we have discussed in detail in molecular biology. Okay, that is the enzyme that is responsible for the transcription of the organism. So that will be affected by this enzyme. Then some other enzymes. So these are the inhibitors of nucleic acid synthesis. So both these organisms are the inhibitors of nucleic acid. Both these antibiotics are the inhibitors of this nucleic acid synthesis. Then several other examples such as sulforamides and trimethoprim. Okay, so methotrexate, a particular drug, this particular drug and sulfonamides specifically affect the folic acid synthesis. Okay, the folate synthesis, especially in trimethoprim, there is a particular drug. Once the organism is resistant to this one, there is a particular protein called dihydrofolate reductase or DHFR. Okay, so that will be acted actually. So this particular antibiotic, inhibit the folic acid synthesis. Okay, so these are the various mechanisms where of the target of the antibiotic, how they are producing the antibiosis. Then coming to the mechanism of resistance. Generally, the antibiotic resistant mechanisms are two types. One is intrinsic resistance or natural resistance, and another one is the acquired resistance. Natural resistance are the organism that is resistant to natural in nature. Okay, say for example, penicillin is not a drug of choice against E. coli. Okay, because penicillin is having an E. coli, it doesn't have that much of the peptidoglycan. It consisting of only 5 to 10% peptidoglycan, and the penicillin, the mode of action of penicillin, it will specifically bind to this peptidoglycan. So that is, the organism is naturally resistant. But certain organisms, they will be, during the mutation, they will be acquiring the acquired resistance. Okay, the acquired resistance is mainly due to the genetic approaches. Okay, that can be here it is shown 2, but it is mainly 3. One is the mutation that is happening in the chromosomal DNA. Okay, the gene that is present in the chromosomal DNA are the target of that particular enzyme that will be getting mutated, or the gene that is present in the extra chromosomal self-replicating DNA such as plasmid, the gene of that particular target, whatever I have shown in the previous slide, the target for that particular, all this target that is synthesized from any one of these. And the third one is the transposons or jumping gene. We have already discussed transposons. Okay, so transposon also can be changed. So this is acquired during the course of antibiotic treatment with the particular antibiotic. Okay, so that will be acquired the resistance. So this is the another important mechanism. So this is a detailed aspects of what I have shown there in the previous slide. Okay, so the antibiotic resistance mechanism, that is genetic perspective or biochemical perspective. Genetic perspectives are a mutation that can be adaptive in nature or spontaneous mutation or hypermutation, and or the horizontal gene transfer that is happening, that is in the plasmids or chromosomal DNA or transposons. Okay, that is mechanism is known as horizontal gene transfer. Most of the drug resistant mechanisms are happening due to this horizontal gene transfer, that is acquired and adaptive genetic mutation. On other mechanisms, the biochemical aspects, the antibiotic inactivation that can be due to the oxidation reduction process or redox process, or group transfer or hydrolysis, or modification of particular target. I have shown so many targets here. So any of the target, if it is getting modified, so this particular things will happen. So peptidoglycan alteration, protein structure interference, DNA structure interference. Okay, these are the major targets. I have showed you here. Some of the targets are ribosome, some of the targets are DNA and RNA, some of the targets are cell membrane, some of the targets are the the outer membrane protein, etc. And if these particular targets are getting modified by due to this particular process, then there will be antibiotic resistance will be happening. Then the cell permeability of the outer membrane, okay, so the permeability of the outer membrane will be changed, and that will be affected the efflux pump mechanism, the transport mechanism that is happening in the cell membrane. So cell membrane, as you all know, is a semi-permeable membrane, only selectively permeable membrane, okay, so that it will be the selectivity will be adversely affected actually. Then the bypassing of the target, we will discuss that in the subsequent classes. And this is again a beautiful picture that shows the entire things what I have shown. This clearly summarizes what I have shown the previous slide, okay. And this slide which I have taken is my own publication which I have recently published as a book chapter in one of the prestigious publishers published by Springer. Then this is the another things, as I said, this is antibiotic. Some antibiotic they will go and specifically bind to the protein that is present in the membranes, that is it will be specifically affecting the protein that is present in the membrane, and that leads to the activation of efflux pump, okay. So that will be, this is the efflux pump that will be activated, that will be that due to this particular process, that will be that the pump will be modified and organism will be resistant. Then several another target is the inhibition of drug uptake. So this is the drug, okay, and this will specifically go and bind to the protein that is present in the cell wall, and that cell wall protein will be modified, and that will be the drug will be inhibited, okay. And some of the this one will be plasmids, okay. And what will happen, some of the antibiotics will be, this will be altering the target, as I said the previous slide. So this is this particular target, and what will happen, the binding pockets are very specific, okay. So if the binding pockets are very specific to a particular drug, so what will happen, due to this particular process, the binding sites of that particular target will be altered or modified, in which the drug cannot go and bind and it become resistant. And some of the this is the cell wall and cell membrane, okay, and cytoplasm, chromosome, all the things are there. And another very important mechanism is the inactivation of the drug by enzymes, okay. The drug, this is a drug, and it specifically go and bind it to an enzyme. That particular enzyme will be having a particular efficiency to specifically bind, and that particular drug will be inactivated to the enzyme, and this enzyme will not function. So what will happen, organism acquire a resistance. So these are the major antibiotic resistant mechanism that is commonly occurred in the process antibiosis, okay. Now we are going to discuss a single example that is very recently published in one of the very important journal, the BMC Microbiology, okay. So the antibiosis interaction of Staphylococcus aureus or Aspergillus fumigatus. So Staphylococcus aureus is a gram-positive cocci that is responsible for the grape, that is responsible for several infection, pyogenic infection, and this is one of the biggest organisms that show the multiple drug resistance. As I showed, it has produced the methicillin resistant Staphylococcus aureus. It is resistant to methicillin, and the last line called the vancomycin, it is resistant and produced the vancomycin resistant Staphylococcus aureus, okay. And Aspergillus, and it in fact it causes an infection called infectious keratitis. And Aspergillus fumigatus, you know that there is a Ascomyces fungus, and that will be having lot of conidia as an asexual spore, okay. The conidia are specifically arranged in the chain in fashion. There is a vesicle and non-septate conidiophores are present in their morphology, and both the organisms, they produces the biofilm, that is the major part of the infectious step. So once the biofilm is produced, this infection can occur. And this Aspergillus fumigatus, what will happen, Aspergillus fumigatus Staphylococcus aureus, and the etiological agent that causes the keratitis, infectious keratitis, and this Staphylococcus aureus, they will be sharply inhibited the biofilm production of Aspergillus fumigatus by production of these certain inhibitory substances. So that is known as antibiosis, and this antibiosis effect of the bacterium on the fungus was of the following way. So what will happen when it is undergoing the antibiosis, there will be scarce production of Aspergillus fumigatus biofilm. When these Aspergillus fumigatus and Staphylococcus aureus, once they coexist, so the chemical substance, the antibiosis that is produced by Staphylococcus aureus will affect the production of the biofilm of Aspergillus fumigatus. Then there is a disorganized fungal structures will happen. Disorganized fungal hyphae will happen. There is an abortive growth in the fungal hyphae. That fungal hyphae will be growing in an abnormal way or abortive way. It will be growing. Then there will be very limited growth of the fungal hyphae. Due to that, there will be inhibition will happen. And there is a conidia. As I told you, the fungal hyphae has a lot of conidia or conidiospore. This is an asexual spore. These asexual spores will be getting limited. Okay, and what will happen? Finally, there will be the modification of the surface, and they will be lyse the cell of that particular conidia by this bacterial bioactive substances. Okay, so there is a strong antibiosis will be happening, and the antagonistic effect did not depend, or antibiosis did not depend on the bacterial concentration. That is probably due to the cell to cell contact or interaction and released by the bacterial product. So here the bacterial concentration doesn't have a role, but the production of the inhibitory substance that is produced by the bacteria has the impact for the inhibition or antibiosis of the fungal hyphae that is produced by the Aspergillus fumigatus. So this is the beautiful example. What I was showing here, that is a paper that is published in BMC Microbiology Journal, and here the beautiful step that is illustrated, that step that they have taken by scanning electron microscopy in the dispatch magnification. First, you can see in the slide A, you can see this is the C is a big conidia, and you can see this is given as a C, okay, and this B is bacteria. Here you can see cocci attached to the surface of the conidia. And what will happen? Second, you can see many cocci, and they are coming and attached to their accumulation of lot of cocci to the conidia. You can see. Okay, and B, you can see that first they are acquiring. Okay, this initially they are one, they are next one they are accumulating. Okay, the C, this is increasingly they are increasing, actually massive adhesion of cocci in the conidia. And finally D, you can see there is a morphological changes of the conidial structure. Okay, there is a penetration, there is an interaction between the Staphylococcus aureus and this conidia. The organism, Staphylococcus organism, probably produce the biochemical substances that adversely affect this particular process. Okay, and finally you can see this particular the component that is secreted by the Staphylococcus aureus probably damage the surface of the conidia, and that leads to the lysis and destruction of the complete conidia. So that way this biofilm of Aspergillus fumigatus is completely getting affected. So this is the cross view. This is the bacteria hyphae. Okay, there is a here you can see a hyphae, and here you can see this is the bacterial cell, and you can see that is attached. Okay, that is the conidia that is attaching. This is a bacterial cell, and this is a conidia, and here you can see it is attached. Okay, and finally what is happening? There is a beautiful invagination of the fungal hyphae. Okay, that you can see here. Okay, that will be invaginated, and this particular cell, the Staphylococcus aureus cell, will be going deeply, and there you can see they are secreting some substances, and that will be lyse the cell, and deformation of the fungal hyphae you can see at a higher magnification. Actually, whatever it is happening here, this step they have magnified once again, they taken a cross view, and this is a beautiful example how antibiosis, that is of Staphylococcus, that is inhibiting the Aspergillus fumigatus fungus that causes the infectious keratitis actually. So now I would like to conclude today's class. This is a negative interaction. Antibiosis is a negative interaction, and the major perspective of antibiotic functioning, how it is happening, and we have discussed. Okay, and what is the mechanism of antibiotic resistance, how it is happening, natural resistance, the acquired resistance, okay, how it is happening, okay, and the acquired resistance either from a transposon mediated or from chromosomal DNA mediated or from plasmid mediated, okay, and what is the mechanism of antimicrobial resistance we have discussed, okay, what are the major mechanism and what are the strategies where the antibiotic resistance have been happening, what are the major strategies in which the antibiotics are getting the target modification, efflux pump mechanism, okay, then the inhibition of nucleic acid, all such kind of things we have discussed, okay. Then finally the antibiosis interaction, as a typical example we have discussed the antibiosis, how antibiosis of staphylococcus aureus is affecting aspergillus fumigatus biofilm, and this is all about this antibiosis. These are the examples of the textbook that is described in the syllabus. As I said today, I have I have taken several research papers also, okay, for the taking of this particular class, okay. So this is the major text books and research papers, and thank you very much for watching this particular class. And if you are having any clarification, you can of course you can ask me, either you can mail me or you can post below, or you can write it to me, or you can call me, okay. So this is all about this antibiosis.